Hello, English language teachers and English language students all around the world. I'm Venette Cook, an English teacher from California, and I'm also a poet. I write poems for teaching and learning English as a new language because poetry gives us an extra way to enjoy learning, to have a little more freedom with language. And also, poetry opens doors in our minds and in our hearts so that we can learn about ourselves, learn about each other, and learn about the beautiful world that we share. Today, I'm going to share a poem for you about a very important American person whose name is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Probably you know quite a bit about Dr. Martin Luther King, and as a teacher and as a person, I encourage you to learn more and more and more about the ways that Dr. King worked and lived his life to help us all build a community of equality and justice for all people together. So now get ready to listen to this poem. I'll read it 3 times. Once at a normal speed, a second time a little more slowly, and a third time you'll be able to listen and read the words on your screen. And you can listen and repeat too if that would be useful to you as a language student. So if you need a pencil or a paper or anything, get that. Push pause and then push play when you are ready, and we'll hear this poem, The Content of Your Character. Here's the poem for the first time. The content of your character. The content of your character speaks more than you might think. Your accent and your style give open minds a cool drink. The content of your character leads to a higher ground. Your story and your dreams bring out the sweetest sound. The content of your character shines light in darkest nights. Your views and opinions give strength to defend our rights. The content of your character guides many along the way. Your words and your wisdom lead us to a better day. Okay, here's the poem for the second time. I'll read a little more slowly. I'll say the words a little more slowly. If you like, you can listen and repeat, or just listen one more time. The content of your character. The content of your character speaks more than you might think. Your accent and your style give open minds a cool drink. The content of your character leads to a higher ground. Your story and your dreams bring out the sweetest sound. The content of your character shines light in darkest nights. Your views and opinions give strength to defend our rights. The content of your character guides many along the way. Your words and your wisdom lead us to a better day. Now I'll give you this poem one more time, and this time you'll be able to read the words on your screen. I'll say them slowly so that you can listen, read, and repeat if you would like to. So here we go for the third time. The content of your character. The content of your character speaks more than you might think. Your accent and your style give open minds a cool drink. The content of your character leads to a higher ground. Your story and your dreams bring out the sweetest sound. The content of your character shines light in darkest nights. Your views and opinions give strength to defend our rights. The content of your character guides many along the way. Your words and your wisdom lead us to a better day. Thank you for listening to this poem and also reading along with the poem. And I hope you learned a few things about the English language. And now let's think a little bit about 2 vocabulary words and how we could use these words to express our ideas in English. So the first one is this: defend. Defend is a verb, and we use this word like the word protect. I want to defend myself from that dog that's coming down the street. Or in the case of the poem, I want to defend my rights. Please help me defend my rights. So, for example, we want the right to vote. We want the right to get clean water. We want the right to protect our families and to be safe. So defend can be other things too, like in sports, you defend your team, and that's a little bit of a different kind of word. So the question coming from the ideas of Dr. Martin Luther King and civil rights and human rights is this one: how do you defend your human rights? How do you defend your rights and the rights of the people around you? You can discuss that question. You can write about it. You can also think about how you help defend the rights of other people. That's something that I try to do in my life for other people and, of course, for myself too. For our next word from the poem that you might like to remember and use in your English communication is this word. Let's see. Character. Character is different from the word personality. Both are nouns, so it's always good to have a dictionary around. I'm sure you have one. And character is the inside quality of yourself. It's about honesty, it's about generosity, it's about friendliness, helpfulness. It can also be dishonesty. You could have a dishonest character or a selfish character. So there are some things that are inside us in our character that help us connect with kindness, with love, with fairness to each other. And these are parts of our character that we try to grow and keep strong and make them deeper and use them in our lives to live well for ourselves and for each other. So a conversation question for you in a class or with a group, or A writing question for you in a journal, perhaps, or in a class is describe the positive qualities of your character. Don't be shy. I'm sure you have some really positive qualities. And it's good to know about our positive qualities so that we can grow stronger in them. And a second question that I like to use when I share this poem with classes is who from your family or who from your life helped you become positive in your character? Maybe it was a teacher or a parent, brother, sister, uncle, aunt. For me, I have a grandmother who brought me many positive qualities for my character, and I am grateful to my grandmother for that. So we all have teachers, and you are a teacher too. So you are sharing the good nature of your quality with other people. And you could write about that as well, or talk about that with classmates or a study partner. So now that we have listened to this poem that I wrote, trying to teach my students a little bit about the deep mind and the deep sense of justice that we learned from Dr. King, I want to say in this time with you, please learn a lot about Dr. King. There are many wonderful books. This one is a collection of his writing. You can see it's a very long book with many, many, many words. And I haven't read all of this book, but I know more and more about Dr. King as time goes by because he is one of our great teachers about peace and justice in the world and about how to be free people who share the world in a way that is really a way of freedom and justice for all, not just some of us. And I will always enjoy learning more about Dr. King. And I want to give you a few places where you can also learn a little bit more about him. If you are still learning English, I think you can learn from these websites. You can look at the Dr. King Center and a couple of the other places that you'll find at the end of this video. Before we finish with this poem for today, I want to add a couple of personal notes from me and encourage you to think deeply about the life and the wonderful character, the content of the character of Dr. King. And for me, this idea is for me to really look at the content of my character, not in a critical way, but in a very clear way, to really look deeply and to think about the way Dr. King does guide me along the way, and also how his words and his wisdom can lead me to a better day. And this is what I hope for you listening to this poem and thinking about this poem is, how do the words and the wisdom of others lead us to a better day? And how do your words and your wisdom lead us to a better day? And how does our character guide us all? These are old questions and new questions and very important questions for us to think about while we are learning English, while we are working in the world that we all share. For me, the work that we all share with Dr. King and with each other is to do the work to build a community of people who work to stop the harms of our world, the harms of injustice, the harms of racism, the harms of hatred, so that we build a community, a beloved community, as Dr. King would say, that honors the love and the light in all people everywhere. If you like learning about the world through poems, like this one about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., you can find more poems in this book, Beautiful English, called Poems for Change, for Peace, and for Learning English as Another Language. It's available through my website and on Amazon, and I'm happy to come to classrooms or talk with you individually about learning English as a new language. So please continue to defend your rights, defend the rights of each other. Develop your character, shine your character as a light in the world, and honor the light and the character in others. And always let's try to honor the legacy of Dr. King in every way that we can. Thanks for listening. Once again, you can click like and subscribe. And I'll see you later. Have a beautiful day. Bye.